Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Are You Spirited podcast, an affiliate of the Social Podcast Network. Relax, be spirited, and enjoy.
All right, welcome back. This episode of Are You Spirited? Today's guest is Jess Blakeman. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
You're bumming.
I'm bumming out today. It's my day off.
Well, I just told you, I've never smelled a bum that smells so good.
Well, then.
If this is bumming, I'd like to see you when you're on your game because it's fantastic in here.
Well, I had to do something.
This is the best the room's ever smelled.
Dress up this outfit.
So I had you back. Well, I'd have you back every day. I think you're awesome. You know, I've already told you 100 times how great I think you are and how much I appreciate you. And,
thank you.
But we're starting a new podcast, and it's called Are You Spirited? And I need spirited people.
I'm spirited.
That's why I asked you to come on the podcast. And do you? So when I say Are You Spirited? What do you think? What's your first thought?
I think when you ask that, it's like being positive.
Right. You don't think about religion?
Yes and no, half and half, a little bit.
Yeah, because I don't want to discourage people when I say it that way, because some people will be like, oh, you know, is this a religious podcast? And it isn't really.
No, but you know what? I'm spiritual, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I think it's an amazing gift when you can find that relationship with something that creates. You know, people say, you know my past a little bit. You know,
right.
There's always these things that we go through, and I remember someone talking to me about a spiritual awakening. And I was like, oh, my gosh, that sounds so cool. Mm-hmm. Like a little spiritual buddy comes popping out of the floor.
Right.
Bing! Spiritual buddy on the scene. And what I've learned, and I was talking about this on a different podcast, and one of the things that allowed me to learn about this was running.
Yeah.
There is a spiritual awakening that takes place running.
Absolutely.
Suffering.
There's a lot of spiritual things that happen.
Yeah, and you just finished.
Run.
You just did a marathon or a half.
I did a half.
Half marathon. So you had probably some seriously spiritual awakenings during that.
Yeah, because it was the first one in a long time. I did 2 back to back within a week.
Oh my God. I can't do one.
Yes, you can.
I could.
Yes, you could.
I'm just not that spirited.
It's all mental.
Well, and you know, there's a difference between a spirit and spirituality, and then this thing called religion. And I think they're all great, except for the last one means that if you don't do kind of what we're supposed to do, we end up in a bad, sticky situation.
Right, and that's scary.
And it's scary.
It is scary.
So people, I know for me, I'm like, well, I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Right. Hey, I look at it as you just have to do good.
Right.
From your heart, not because you feel like you need to.
Right. Well, and that's kind of why I wanted to start a podcast about being spirited, which is like, hey, don't give me a list of things I can't do.
Right.
Give me a list of things I can do.
Yeah, you can do anything.
You can do anything you want.
I just had that conversation with Kennedy in the car.
Yeah? How'd it go?
It was good because there's a little girl in her class right now that's kind of giving some other kids a hard time and was going to school and bragging because I have this. Yeah. You don't have that. And I said, look, you can have anything you want in life, but you have to work for it.
Right. Well,
work hard.
I think recognizing that usually if somebody, because listen, I remember having that in elementary school, and I remember having it in my 50s. You know, there's always that person.
There's always one.
But it's usually that person that's probably deficient in something else.
Absolutely. They're lacking. They're looking for something. Yeah.
I was in a friendship. I was going to say a relationship. But friendships are relationships that was really great. But over time, I realized that it was very bizarre.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was just like the butt of every joke. And it almost feels like you're like in 4th grade again.
Right.
Like, and right away you're like, God, something's up with that guy.
Exactly.
And it was sad because I had, when you're Kennedy's age or when you're young, it's hard to just say, you know what, fine, if you want to be like that, I'm going to choose to not be around
Exactly.
you. But as an adult, we can do that. And that's what I did. And it was hard because I really liked this person.
Exactly. It's hard, but you're better off.
So let's talk about your running career because you are, like me, We haven't always been runners, right?
No. And you know what? I started when I went through a rough time.
Sure.
And you've been there. You were there with me. And I needed to do something to get my stress out.
Yeah.
My anxiety, my stress, because it was rough.
And you chose running, and did you know that was going to be the solution, or did it start to present itself as you started the experiment?
No, I didn't know that was going to be my thing.
Yeah.
I started out riding my bike, and I did a couple metric century rides, and I actually got to ride my bike during the Rehoboth Marathon and lead the marathoners. And I've never experienced anything like that. To see them run 26 miles and cross that finish line, it was so neat to see. I'm like, everyone should experience that.
So tell me about that. So did you ride in front of the whole group the
Yes.
whole time, all 26 miles? Okay.
We had to lead the pack.
Okay.
So, man, talk about pressure. You couldn't screw up because you had to follow the course.
Now, did you have to stay in front of the leader, or was the guy? Because you always have that guy, right? He just breaks off.
We stayed in front of the leader.
Okay. So it was just basically a bunch of bikes and a couple guys.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it was a Boston qualifier, so the pressure.
That's a big deal.
It was a big deal.
I remember before, when there was a time when I used to smoke cigarettes, and I used to sit there and go, gosh, I wish I could run. But I'm never going to be able to because I smoke cigarettes.
Right.
And things happen, things change, life presents itself in a way that makes you want to do different things. And I remember running on a treadmill. I was going up to, in fact, this is, a long time ago, but I was running on a treadmill up in New Jersey, and I'd get in my car and have a cigarette. And I'm like, this has got to stop. Something's got to change.
Right.
And the love for running won. Mm-hmm. Because I remember, and and maybe you can share how you got your start, but I know that it was all about like little goals, and even if the first one was just putting on running shoes,
you have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. What was
You have to start somewhere.
What was your beginning like?
I think
or did you just run a marathon your first day?
No, I think I did a 5K.
It wouldn't surprise me if you did that.
I started out with a 5K, and then I always, like, in my mind, like, oh, I wish I could run a marathon. You see that on TV. I would get those team and training papers in the mail. I'm like, well, maybe this is a sign. And I started out with a half.
Yeah.
Trained for that. And then I thought, all right, well, I'll do one marathon. And if that's the only one I ever do, I can say I did it. Well, I had a friend meet me, I think it was mile 18, and she ran with me to the end. And I'm like, I am never doing this again. I'd rather give birth than run another marathon. But then when you're done, that feeling you feel, it's the best.
I would imagine at 18 miles, every step you take is like a success.
When they say you hit the wall, you hit a wall.
Yeah, have you ever seen when people do hit a wall and they're like can't walk and there's this zombie walk?
It's a thing.
It is bizarre.
It is a thing, and it's more mental than it is physical.
Sure. Well, I think somebody told me if you can run a half, you can run a whole.
You can.
Yeah,
you can.
The other half is all mental.
It is, and then mentally, like I know what I do is I break it up in my mind. Okay, I got to 13. Now I'm going to get to 15. Now I'm going to get to 20. And when you get to 20, okay, you have 6 more to go. And then I break that down 3 by 3.
Oy, 6 more to go.
And that is the worst.
Well, I hit a wall this morning. I was supposed to run, I run, now I'm at 52, and that's not that old because I see plenty of people older that run much more than I do. But for who I am, and like I hurt my back, and I just have to kind of manage my serenity, so to speak. But I was supposed to run this morning. But I pulled back. Mm-hmm. A back that was already pulled. I pulled it even more yesterday power washing, so I couldn't run this morning.
No.
And I couldn't run. I tried running around the house. I couldn't do it. I was like, so I had to cancel, and I felt bad about it. But luckily, I think you and I both could say the same thing. We run enough that if you have to skip a day,
it's okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
It's all right.
Right.
And you have to be okay with that.
You have to
be. I know it's okay.
Well, and it is funny because there's been times, when you mentioned going through some tough times, I think I remember running Gordon's Pond at 4:30 in the morning in the snow and sleet and the darkness going, you're sick.
Like, what are you doing?
You got problems.
Yeah, this is not right.
Yeah,
most people are in bed.
Yeah.
They're not up.
Yeah, and it's funny when at a periods of our lowest points, the stuff that we grind ourselves through, and when I see people that are like doing that, I'm like,
I know.
I know something's going on in there.
Exactly. Or like when I see someone running and I'm on my way to work, I'm like, ooh, I wish I could be doing that right now.
Lucky bastard.
I know.
So when's your favorite time to run? Because I can only run in the morning.
Well, since I work so darn much, I need to get it
That's
in
going
the
to be
morning.
the second. We're going to get you off this work thing. That's the second half of this podcast.
I have a problem.
You're driving a problem now.
I have a problem.
It just got worse.
It sure did. Oh,
In a good way,
Lord.
though.
In a good way. In a good way.
So you're fine with just grabbing a run whenever you can get one.
Whenever I can get one. If it's early in the morning, I don't like to go by myself because it is early. I'm a little weird about that. Just kind of
Monsters,
maybe
creepers,
creepy
yeah, that's
people.
'cause you hear all about it.
I do. You don't know where somebody's hiding.
It's funny because I run. I run at 5:30, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I've run down that trail in the pitch black.
Ugh, and it is scary. I've been there.
Well, you just put on music. It's like the scariness just disappears.
Yeah, that's true. I do. I get lost in my music when I'm by myself.
I used to tell my kids before bed. I remember they've all had their monster phase, and I used to say, "Listen, I've ran where the monsters live, and I've never seen one."
Well, that's a good one. I like that.
Because I've if that's where the monsters are going to be, it's back there.
That's right. They're
And,
there.
But it is funny because I have I've been running back there since 1999, and some of the crazy things that you run into.
Oh yeah.
And there's some homeless people,
There are. I've been approached.
and they're very polite. Oh, you've been approached?
I've been approached
Oh shoot, tell
by
us.
a creeper.
Oh really? What did he say?
Oh.
Hey girl,
Pretty much. He wanted to take me out. And I'm like, oh no.
when was this?
2 summers ago.
Oh boy, let me think. 2 summers ago, who was it? Was it the bearded guy?
He was young, ripped.
Oh.
On a bike. A little scary.
A little sketchy.
Yeah. Very
Well,
sketchy.
that is unfortunate because it kind of gives a trail a bad name, and that's not cool.
Yeah, so that made me leery about going certain places.
Well, I came around the corner one morning. It was like 6 in the morning. The sun was just coming up. I come around the corner, and to my surprise, there's a girl squatting in the middle of the trail peeing.
Oh my God.
And I was like, uh-oh. So I turned around and ran the other way because I didn't want to be in any sort of
That's
distance
right.
of an exposed proper area. So I was like, run, like a reels, run.
Run. I would have been turning and running too.
Yeah. And then one morning, this was actually just recently, I was down, I was coming around some corner and I was like, oh my God, what a great shot. So I like squatted down in this bush and I was trying to get like some pussy willows and some sunshine
Yeah,
and some dew.
get the right spot,
I was just
yeah.
getting down there, and then all of a sudden, this girl comes around the corner, and she's like, and I'm like, "Hi, sorry." She's like, I was like,
my
"I'm sorry."
God.
Yeah, I felt bad, but I had no interest in her. I was really looking for some sunshine, a picture.
The perfect picture.
Yeah, it is weird. The trail's an amazing place, and the thoughts that. I used to always say, in the first mile, I assassinate everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second mile, I check pulses and see
Yeah.
who's alive and who's not. And then, like, the third mile, I say sorry to all of them. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And then you get to like 3 miles, you start to get in that groove. It's like, oh, I just need that 3-mile warm up.
Yep. And then you start becoming like a poet.
You do. And then you think, oh, wow, okay, well, I'm so thankful that I can be out here and running
Yeah.
and it's beautiful.
Have you ever heard the term self-centered fear?
No.
Write it down.
I mean, now I have.
Well, it's this like, it's like this bubble that surrounds us with self-centered fear, like things I can't do, like I don't know why I would even bother. Forget that, I'm out of this league. And then you start running and you start to suffer a bit. And I'm going to use the word suffer. It's not the same as when your cat gets hit. It's just this grind that kind of goes on. And then self-centered fear is like, I really don't have a place here. This is... You're not afraid of anything right now. You're grinding through a tough time. So
Exactly.
self-centered fear waits on the bench. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you start, like you want to bring in a new shampoo line, or you're going to open another salon, or you're going to buy a new car, or all these fears that we
Right.
sit with disappear.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how you are, but if my mind starts to go to a not so good place, I try to shut that out.
Sure.
Shut it out, because that running is to relieve my stress, not to cause my stress.
Well, and I think, people say, oh, you hear the word paranoia. And I was watching somebody, I think it was Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was saying that paranoia to him is the way that his mind lets him know about things that he needs to work on.
Right.
And then and I've experienced that, like, oh, nobody's going to come to my salon, or
Sure.
no one's going to get another haircut, and I'm thinking, well, do I need to take some education classes? Do I need to do something to the salon
Right.
that
What
I've
do I
been
need to do?
ignoring? I remember when the pandemic hit, my buddy's like, you need to go clean your salon head to toe. And I was like, well, it's pretty clean. I mean, head to toe, maybe not clean, but, in the middle, it's pretty clean.
We did a head to toe.
You did a head to toe?
Because we were bored out of our minds.
Right. Well, I'm like, you think COVID's in there? But the point is that, I've always, and you don't need to confirm this, but I've always struggled to look. That's not a confirmation.
I'm
laugh.
not saying a word.
I remember when we worked together, and you'd write your name on my counter in my dust.
Clean me.
Clean me.
Clean me.
But, I mean, so I'm a great friend.
It's
okay?
all in good fun.
Yeah, I'm a good friend. I just am
You
not the
absolutely
cleanest.
are.
I'm just
And that's
not-
okay.
Yeah. But, it's these things that I can need to work on. So I get paranoid about it. And so what that is like kind of my body saying, hey, maybe you need to focus on some stuff.
Yeah. Get in there and head to toe.
Yeah. So running, though, gets rid of that self-centered fear. And so do
That's
you
a good
do you
one. I like
experience do you experience that? Do you feel like becoming a poet or a songwriter or a script writer or something?
Sometimes I do. I think, well, maybe I could be that person that goes on Facebook and gives all these inspirational.
Why can't you?
I could.
Self-centered
It's in
fear
there.
showed back up.
It did.
Do you think does
And I blocked
self-centered
that
fear?
out.
Does self-centered fear tell you wouldn't be any good at it?
Yeah, or I don't want anyone to look at me and think, oh, what is she thinking?
Right.
That is so dumb.
Isn't that
Stupid.
yeah? And how many things? I wonder how many things we've passed on because we worry about what other people think.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
That's crazy.
I know I have.
I know I have. I missed the whole influencing game because I was worried about what other people would think.
I know, or I think, oh, now deep down, I'd like to be that girl that's on there blogging about whatever.
Well, so when I think style, when I think fashion, I clearly think of myself. No, just kidding. I think of you
Well, thank you.
because you
Very nice.
always listen. I've known you. I met you the day I met you. I looked at you and I said, "This chick's got it together."
Oh,
I mean, you were younger, right? I think you and Matt just been married.
oh Lord, I was
you
younger.
were taking the light. You were taking on the world because we were all working for Drexel, and I saw him the other day. I'm like, "Come on the podcast." Oh, I'm like Drexel. I really just want to have Drexel on to say thank you. But
Right.
one day we'll get him.
I'll do
But-
it. I'll do it with you.
Yeah. Listen, if we could get a few people together
That would be
and,
fun.
and have him on, I think we all, I don't know if we're completely owe everything we have to him, but,
Right.
he was a good starting spot.
Absolutely.
Mm.
All of us for down this way.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Always loved Drexel. But, and what was I just saying? Drexel confused me. He tricked me. But, it's just that, well, and the other thing, kind of going back to the influencing stuff, I always believed that if I found something that created a lot of success with a little bit of work, I would be afraid that it would all go away very quickly.
Yeah, that's a fear because you
That's a
wonder
fear.
like how long can you maintain that,
Right, and I remember what I was going to say
or
was
is
that
it just a fad?
I remember meeting you, and I was like, this chick has it so together with her clothes and her style and just the way that you talk to a client. And I think that you could be something like that. And that's why when I started this podcast, I wanted to have kind of a core group of people. And the first person that I thought about having on this podcast was you.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I had to tell you, after I did it last year on my running, I'm like, oh, well, we could talk about this and this and this. Like,
Well, and
I would love it.
could you come and join me on a routine? I know you're busy, but could we maybe get you once a month or something?
Sure, I
Or
could. Listen, I can make time.
Could we do something like that? What's your day? Mondays?
Mondays are my days.
Well, if you don't have anything to do that's important, maybe you can come hang out with me. Because I would love to have, because
Would be fun.
I would love to start talking about fashion and style and cuts and what the latest trends are. I know that because we're both in the hair business.
Right.
We both own hair salons. People, I think, know that. But And it was people like you that helped me become the person that I am.
Oh,
Well,
it
and
makes me feel good.
Listen, it's just I don't think you did it on purpose, but you inspire people.
That's nice. And that, I love, that's nice to hear that, but I hope that I inspire people. And then, when we all have those days where we doubt ourselves,
Yeah.
it's nice to hear that.
Well, and you know what? I remember my clients used to come and love to see what Jess was wearing today. And how tall are Jess's shoes today?
That's right. My shoes have gotten a lot shorter.
They're shrinking.
They're shrinking.
They're shrinking down.
Oh,
Your toes went on strike.
They have, but they can't be flat yet.
No, not
No.
yet. You're not there yet.
The days I try that, it ain't happening.
Well, I do remember the people used to come and love to see what Jess was wearing and your shoes and so you do inspire people. And listen, don't forget it. And I hope I can get you on here so we can talk about stuff.
That would be great. And listen, everybody, it is okay. Like today, I'm bumming out.
The
Bum,
best smelling.
bum it.
You're not no bum on the trail. I can tell you that because I smelled those guys. They're not so fresh.
No, they could use a air freshener.
What do you think about style? Are we so COVIDed out right now and coming out of this thing, this year and a half that we've lost our style?
I think we have.
Do we need to
It's
start
sad.
thinking about it?
We do. I just said to a client this week, when you go to work and you're all dressed up, you feel a little out of place these days.
Yeah.
People look at you like, where's she going?
Yes. Well, I'm afraid the life that we knew prior March 2019, what was it, 2020, I guess, and this
Yeah,
all
I know.
started?
I feel like we lost a whole year of our life.
Well, and I feel like we've lost a whole, like everything that was kind of important, maybe for the good, maybe, we like to have style, but did it need to be the most important thing? I don't know. But what's coming out is this new world where we got a giant group of people that want to talk about this other giant group of people. And this word in the middle that we've kind of started talking about, this woke. Woke
it up. I don't like it.
Well,
but
kind of, and I'm like you, right? I'm like you, but I'm also kind of like, the biggest topic right now is nobody wants to work. And before we go crazy about this, this is my opinion, and you can tell me what you think, or maybe I can. But I feel like it's not that people don't want to work; people are tired of being broke.
yeah, and that is a very good. That's a different perspective.
It's a different perspective.
It sure is. I mean, I wouldn't have thought about that, but that is true.
Well, and so this is kind of funny. So my son, the lazy people that don't want to work has 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have 2 jobs. A lot of people are out working. And so when someone doesn't want to come work, it's easy to use the excuse, they're just lazy people that don't want to work. And it's not true. There are people, they want to work. But I can tell you that my son was working at a place, and we'll keep them all anonymous, but he was working for like $9 an hour. He's 15.
Yeah.
And another place, Louis.
Yeah.
They're like, come work with us. We'll
Yes.
pay you 11 plus tips. He's like, all right, I'll
be
come
there.
work with you.
Absolutely.
The other business he was working for is like, oh, okay, well, we'll pay you 11 too. Now he's working both jobs at $11 an hour.
Right.
But these people, they forget that no employees, no small business. No employees, no big business.
Absolutely.
And when you see, I was watching this, one of the Walton family daughters with her $189 million mega yacht that's up for sale now because she's having a bigger one built that needs a small mini yacht to service the big yacht.
Must be nice,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, anybody that really, minimum wage should be $25 an hour.
Then we all need to make more money.
Well, you don't pay anybody. Oh, you have have a receptionist, but yeah, that might be tough. But you know what I'm saying? It's just this. Why do everybody have to be broke?
I know. It sucks.
It sucks.
But it's time that we need to start living.
That's right.
I posted that yesterday after my run in the morning, the word of the
You
day.
were inspired.
I was inspired, so
See,
I posted.
Self-centered fear went out the window, and you started posting.
I did, and I said the word of the day was live.
Yep.
You have to live. You cannot, at this point, we cannot live in fear.
Right.
Because it has put so many people in such an awful place.
No, and I can tell you that as of Friday when I took that mask off, I'm not putting it back on.
Hell no.
And
Burn it.
And I
Roast
feel,
marshmallows over it.
Yeah, I feel 1,000 times better.
And I really think, I mean, this is just my opinion, but
We're spirited.
We are spirited. You do you. Don't give your opinion. You stay in your lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to do me. You do you. And we should have done that a long time ago.
Well, and so I think the thought was that we would feel guilty about not having our mask on,
Right.
so it would make us feel like we should have it. And we went to the outlets. I took my wife. We went to the outlets shopping yesterday, and we didn't wear our mask. And on all the doors, mask required. I just went in without it. And you know what? They said nothing. And all the people in their little masks kept looking at me. And you know what I thought they were thinking? I'm jealous.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm at the point where I feel good not to have that
Hell
thing
yeah.
on.
I went for, what was it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, almost 4 days, and didn't burst into flames.
Nope. And we're okay.
And we're fine.
We are fine.
And you know what's going to start happening? These people in masks are going to start looking a little sickly.
And I just think when they take that mask off for the first time, ooh, they are going to be sick because they just suppressed their immunity for the last
Right.
year and a half.
Well, there's a lot of diseases in there. There's the disease of opinion.
Yes.
You know, there's the disease that I'm right, you're wrong. And up until Friday, they had a platform. There's this, these things that happen like this pandemic, it starts to create these opportunities for people to be unique, which is like, maybe my option is going to be to tell everybody, what to do or to be beating the drum of these masks. Well, on Friday, when they took that away, they shut everybody up.
Absolutely.
Because
I love it.
Yeah, I've walked all,
Love
I've been
it.
in Giant, I've been everywhere without
Yes.
a mask. Not a peep. Not
Love
a peep.
it.
And now
that's how it should have been.
they've been deflated and now they got nothing to say. Now they're just going to look sickly.
They are. And, I feel like it has made some of those people very bold in the last year.
Oh, very bold.
Very bold.
Karens.
Lots of Karens.
Did Karen come up because they're over caring? Is that how Karen came up?
I don't know where Karen came up, but there's also a Becky, too.
Oh, a Becky?
Yeah, Kennedy informed me that there's a Becky.
Oh my God. Well, the other guy that I want us to do the co-host with this in this podcast is Shreddy McSkate.
Okay, I don't
And
know him.
He is a freaking character, man, and he has a YouTube channel where he just does e-bike reviews. So him and he's like, so we did a podcast. There he is. There's Shreddy,
Oh, that's cool.
and he lives here. And he
Look
does
at
these
that.
e-bike reviews
Oh, my
all
gosh.
through the area. So
Wow.
he's riding through Gordon's Pond. He is.
Yeah.
He is such a cool, spirited guy, and I just love this guy. So him and he was on the podcast last week, and then after the podcast, him and I went on an e-bike ride, and we did like 15 miles.
Oh, that's neat.
And the cool thing about e-bikes is you can ride them on the trail.
Oh, wow.
But there was a whole bunch of Karens up on there.
I bet there
a whole
was
bunch
a
of
lot
Beckys.
I bet there were.
And they're like, you're not allowed to have that e-bike on the trail. And I'm like, thank you.
just
Thanks for
stay
talking.
stay in your lane.
None of your business.
Karen.
And the funniest thing about it is like you pass somebody, and they're like, you're not supposed to have that, and they yell as you go by, and then you have to stop at the crossing,
Yeah.
and they all pull up together, and you're like, what were you saying? Nothing. Quiet.
Yeah, because now they can't say it.
Well, and we should ask Matt about this, because I was thinking we could bring back the one slap rule.
Oh,
Just one slap.
one slap. Listen, if we started to do more of that, it was going to shut some people up.
Yeah, it's like, do you want me to take my one slap rule and light you up?
Do you want me to get that wooden spoon out?
Yeah, or maybe just like the glove.
That's right. Oh, one time.
One time. Maybe it would zip it.
Kind of like your bike thing. I ran on the trail this whole past year. No mask. I'm like, I am outside.
No.
I am running. Listen, I have asthma and I got a little heart thing going on.
What?
Yeah. But I ran without that mask.
Damn
People
right.
shame you with their eyes. And you know what? The ones that did that, I'm a friendly runner. I'll say good morning, hi, whatever, wave. Those Karens, I couldn't even look at them.
Well, and
'Cause
they're
they were
I think
mean.
and I think they're tougher on women.
Yes. And you know what?
It's
I
not
just
really
held
fair.
my ground, ran, put my nose to the ground and kept on going.
Love you.
Yep. Peace. Have a great day.
I can hold it together through most things, like trails, everything, working, stores. I lose my mind in traffic. I don't know why. It's
brings
just
a
the
little-
perfect recipe to make a goddamn crazy cake.
Oh, every morning on the way to work.
I'm like, okay, today's different, guys. I'm just gonna chill. I'm in no hurry.
That's right.
I've got nowhere to be. I'm just gonna drive along like I'm just.
And
another
then
day.
you get that left lane driver
Oh yeah.
that's holding up all the traffic.
Well, or the middle guy.
Or the middle guy.
And the left lane, and they box you in, and then they go 25 miles an hour.
Exactly.
And I must look like a baboon back there, bouncing around the freaking car because I'm losing
Throwing
my
your
damn.
hands up in the air.
And then they shut down Georgetown.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on? That's your part of the woods. What's going
That
on
is my
down
part
there?
of the woods. But you know what? It must be open because today the traffic pulling out of my neighborhood, it was ridiculous. It's like taking your life in your hands.
So maybe there was an announcement that it's open.
I'm going to say, judged on the traffic today, it might
back
be open.
Well,
Sucks.
so what'd they put in there? A roundabout?
I think so. I haven't had to go that way.
A roundabout?
A roundabout that
Have you
no
se-
one's going to know how to use.
Have you seen the roundabout off of?
Oh, yes. Plantations?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I've been in. Kennedy said the other day, what is this? So it's called a circle.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania, we call them squares.
Well, do you remember what it was like before the roundabout going into Rehoboth?
No.
There was life before the
There
roundabout,
was.
right? And because I was thinking about what was here. Was it a light?
I think it just was straight.
Stop signs?
No, I think you just went. It was like a four-way, I think.
Was it a four-way stop?
I think. Gosh,
Isn't that bad?
That is
It
awful.
wasn't that long ago.
no.
I don't
People
remember
still
what-
don't know how to use that circle.
No, they don't. But
No.
it is I don't know. I feel like when they announced they were going to put that roundabout, I was like, that's going to be stupid. But I feel like it does sort of work.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
It works.
Yeah.
It moves.
I'm not sure. I feel like if the roundabout that they put on Plantation Road, is that even Plantation Road there? Because, of course they changed 1 mile of road to a whole different name.
I think it's Warrington Road.
Warrington,
Don't
okay.
quote me on that,
Yeah.
but I think it is.
We're locals.
I just call it Plantations,
but
the back way.
They put that roundabout, but I really feel like the next four-way needs to have a roundabout.
Oh, that four-way is ugly.
That's a mess, right?
That is a mess.
Yeah.
At Old Landing,
Yes.
the four-way.
We've really seen a lot of changes in this last couple
We
of
have.
years.
Yeah, and I don't really like it.
No. Have you lost your the love for this area as much as I have? Because I have lost a little love.
I'm
You
just
can
gonna
say
be,
it.
I
You're
have. I
spirited.
have. It's not like it used to be. And I mean,
No.
I'm not from here, so I'm not your true local, but I've been here for over 20 years.
I always say if you were born here, you moved the hell away. You're like,
Right.
I'm out of here. And
I'm
if-
out. Peace.
And only people that weren't born here move here.
Right. But it's getting worse because I feel like the people that are moving here, they don't like where they're living, but yet they're bringing their issues here.
Yes. Well, they don't like much. It seems like they're
No.
very. It's an older generation. You have to have a little money if you're going to move here. You're
Sure.
not a new,
No.
a young couple starting off your life together,
Mm-hmm.
and you're moving to Rehoboth Beach. You might move to maybe Millsboro, but you're not moving down here.
Yeah.
So it feels like a lot of the people that are moving down here are retired. A lot of people that are moving down here are moving because they couldn't afford where they were living.
Right.
So they're
coming here.
they're lowering their standards
Mm-hmm.
almost, and they're moving to Rehoboth because of no taxes or whatever it is.
All of it. They don't like city living anymore.
City living, and then they move here, and they're like, "Well, where's the bus, or where's the the stuff to do? Where's all the stuff to do?" And I'm
There's
like,
not.
"There's nothing to do.
There's not.
Popcorn, taffy,
Ice cream.
The
pizza.
beach.
That's right.
that's it. That's what you
That's
got."
all you got. And with all the traffic, I think we've said we sounded like a broken record at work, but we see it out our window. We're like, where are these people going? What are they doing?
What? Yeah. What? Do
What
they
are
have a
doing?
job?
Did we miss something?
Yeah, I agree.
No,
Well,
they don't have jobs.
They don't
right
have.
now.
They're too lazy. These lazy people moving here don't want to work. Well, and then there's this weird period of the day, from 7 to 9. I think it's all the people that can't see.
They're out.
They're out. They're like, I can't give up my license, so I'm gonna ride around between 7 and 9 before a lot of people get out.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately when I interact with them.
know.
I'm like, can't you see?
Even yesterday, I met my friend in Rehoboth. I met her at 6:30. I thought the same thing. What are you people up for? Where are you going? What are you
Right.
doing?
Right.
Rehoboth was crazy yesterday.
Yeah. Yes, it was. I stayed pretty much home. I power washed the house.
Well, I went home and I ran my errands and got my flowers, and I didn't leave.
Yeah, it's getting that way, and that's
It is. It's sad.
well.
for
And
us.
it used to be like between Memorial Day and next weekend is Memorial Day, so we are coming into the the period where it's justified because we are a vacation town.
That's right.
But it's been that way every day, every weekend.
It hasn't stopped.
No.
It hasn't stopped. Even last night, Matt said, I kind of wish we had the COVID thing going on. Because at least last summer we had our beaches and...
Yeah, and he really wasn't pressured to do much, really. I don't know if there was a meeting with the state police, but I remember when this all hit and they had all these uprisings with the police. Remember all the drama?
Oh, it was so much drama.
And, the police were like, hey, we're just not... I mean, people weren't really getting pulled over.
No, you know what? They kind of told them. Like when the whole COVID thing was happening, like, we didn't know. They didn't know.
No, remember when the Black Lives Matter stuff was going down, and they were going to have that? I think it was like June.
Yeah,
it
was
like
at
the
the
first week in June.
Yes,
and I remember
it
was very, very emotional, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it was very weird and very kind of scary. And I'll never forget. The state police said no, and they put all those cop cars in the freaking outlets.
They
and
brought the horses down.
They said not today.
Not today.
And I remember I was like very emotional. Because it feels good when you're protected by your boys in blue.
And you know what? Well, I even boarded up the salon that weekend.
Yeah.
I did because I'm right there, right in the midst of where it was supposed to be. You don't know. It's the unknown. But one bad person should not make it bad for everybody else.
No, I think I think this all goes back to we're tired of being poor.
Yeah, and we need a little discipline.
We need some discipline, but people need to make a living. There was a time, and obviously times have changed, but there was a time, where a person could work at a filling station and buy a house.
Right.
There was a time there was a middle class, and we have gone from. And I don't want you to tell me what you consider yourself, but I consider myself lower class in the pay scale. I may be on the higher end of a lower class person, but we're not rich. We're not making a lot of money. We basically have enough, the way our life is kind of built, that we can survive.
Right.
But we're not rich. We're poor.
No, I agree.
And we work.
We work. There goes back to that work thing.
Yeah. We hustle it. And
we hustle. Look, I like nice things, but man, I'm working hard.
And nobody can ever deny that.
Yeah.
I drive by you working. I'm like, oh, Jess is still working. I'm not.
I'm still working.
Jess is still working.
Do you know how many people are like, Jess, my God, I drove by. It was 9:00. You're still there.
Working.
Still there.
Still working.
I'm still working.
Well, they can never say you're lazy, and I don't think they ever would. But, it's just this, everybody is just broke. And I think that's kind of what, people want to say. Well, and the other thing is, and this is be controversial, I'm sure, but the fact is that they need to legalize marijuana.
Hey, I don't know anything about it.
Well, I'm sure you don't because you're too busy working. But the fact is that as long as alcohol is legal, marijuana should be legal. And a lot of people, they make you take drug testing because of marijuana.
Marijuana. And you know what? At this day and age, that's the least of the worries.
Right. So a lot of these people can't get jobs because they tried, using marijuana. And so they have this, but, and I've done both. I've experimented with all of it. And I can tell you, nothing wrecked my life worse than vodka.
Oh.
Legal vodka.
See?
Nothing grinded my life into the dirt like vodka.
And I'm not a vodka drinker, so.
Well, me neither. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
But the point is that we love to pick. They love to marijuana, and this is all coming from this post that I somehow got looking at on Facebook yesterday about these people complaining about all they care about is smoking pot and looking at their cell phone.
Oh.
And I don't think it's fair. They're using a lot of they, them, and I'm like, those are humans. You know what? And just because, you don't smoke pot, which is fine, but I bet, not you, but I bet these people sit around, drink their wine. People love to drink their wine.
They like to drink their wine.
Drink their mixed drinks, and it's like, it's all the same. Eat too much food, sex, drugs, all of it.
It all, yep.
It's
Don't be a hypocrite.
Right. You have two choices, what you should do or what you want to do.
Right.
And there's a lot of us that do what we want to do. Whether in whatever you're doing, it is what it is.
I mean, we live in that society these days where people just do for themselves. They don't really think of others.
Well, and I bet, unfortunately your husband probably sees a lot of that stuff. There was a lady she runs a huge foundation now, but she talked about being a teenager and getting caught with marijuana. And she said, if it wasn't for my parents and their resources and being able to get that off my record, my life would be completely different.
Wow.
You get into the system. Marijuana is a great way to get you into the system.
Yeah.
And then you're reporting, and then you're being, whether it's a probation or whatever it is,
Sure.
and then you're in the system. And it's sometimes you get in there and it's hard to get out.
Yeah. We kind of talked about this yesterday, Matt and I, in the car. We were going through a certain area that's not the best.
Right.
And he said, from his perspective, it was right as you get on Route 9, they were making chicken.
Yep.
And he said, Jess,
It's a hot spot.
Yep. He said, they have the best chicken there. I stop there all the time. And he said, I'll tell you what, I may have arrested some of those guys, but they respect me because I respect them and I'm nice to them. And I'm like, well, you know what? That kind of goes full circle with anybody. I don't care who you are, what color you are. I don't see that. As long as you're nice and respectful. Sure.
And spirited.
And spirited.
Yeah, someone said that to me about, well, why are they always cooking all that chicken? Because it's good
It's
and
good.
people love it.
Well, you know what? I was jonesing for because it was so hot. I'm like, I just want an iced tea. I want a freaking cold iced tea. He's like, they probably have sweet tea as he blows by there. I'm like, well, then go back.
Yeah.
We didn't go back.
It is, and that's kind of why I wanted to start this podcast, because it's not about race.
No.
I've always
Not at all.
When this all went through, I had to take a hard look at my relationship with race, racism, and because we're all kind of being accused, right? At one point,
Yeah, I don't like it.
I didn't like it either, and so I'm like, well, am I racist? Am I not seeing this? And a good friend of mine, Kiefer Sunborn, who's a guy of color, and I don't even like saying that. I hate identifying any of that.
No.
But he explained to me that, and it was weird because it happened to me right here. He was meeting me for a podcast at the old studio, which was down by Sydney's. And he had been there, so that's where he thought the studio was, didn't realize I had moved it up here. At the same time, a girl had hit a car in the parking lot here and called the police.
Okay.
So a state cop pulls up, parks in front of my salon along the curb.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm here in the studio. Kiefa's down over by the old studio.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, where is he? Where's Kiefa? So I look down there, and I'm like, and so what I didn't realize is that Kiefa had pulled up and then walked over and pulled the door to the old studio, which was Sydney's now. It was kind of closed, but he had pulled the door. I wasn't there, so he got back in the car. He thought somebody called the cops because he, being a guy of color, was trying to break in.
Oh, boy.
And I'm over here like, Kiefa, come on over. And between us is a state cop. He's like, nope. I'm not coming over. And I'm like, what? And I couldn't understand. And then we finally got it together, and he explained to me, he goes, I thought the cop was here because I had pulled on the door.
Gosh, he didn't realize it was for an accident.
But that's his life.
Yeah.
That's his world. And I'm like, I don't pull up and ever worry about being accused or being mistaken for something or doing something, because I'm not speaking for you, but it's a privilege that I have. And I didn't understand it, and so when we talked about that in that manner, I was like, I do kind of get it. But I also realized that there's not a lot. I can only treat people the way I want to be treated.
That's right, and that goes. Hey, we have to teach our kids that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's like the number one base of everything.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is our kids don't even know what racism is really. They don't.
And if you look at kids, they don't see that.
No, they don't even care. It's
They
just
don't
people.
care. You just, again, I think we have to drill into our kids, which my parents drilled into me. My dad was huge on respect.
Right.
You have to respect, have some manners, be respectful.
Well, I respect that, and I've learned that I can, like I said, I can only treat people how I want to be treated, but I also learned that I can't really do much else about it.
Right.
I was telling someone, I go, I think we should get rid of the N-word. And they're like, well, people that of color can use it because that's their word. It's a term of endearment or something like that. And I'm like, that's like having cancer and going to get radiation treatment but having a cigarette on the way. It's like, why don't we just all? I get it. You can have the word. It's your word. It's your term of endearment. You guys, I understand. But maybe we should all just put it down and try if we really want to move forward. But then I'm like, well, maybe they don't. I don't know. But that's why I thought, well, if we call it spirited, we don't have to worry about race, color, anything. We can just say, do we want to take on the day and make a great chicken over here, or whatever it is we want to do, and we don't have to pay attention to any of that other stuff.
Yeah, because the more you talk about it and the more you bring it up, the more I think you make it worse.
Yeah, you make it worse.
I mean, and now like you turn on the TV, it's in your face.
Well, and I think the newsism is a big problem.
Oh, I do too.
Because
we're not getting the truth.
No, we're not getting.
It's just an agenda. It's what they want to push at the moment.
It's whatever sells.
Toxic.
It's toxic. And I remember watching David Muir, on ABC News, and I'm like, I like David Muir. He's pretty neutral. He's easygoing, not a big deal. Him telling me how Facebook is telling me how to think, and I'm like, well, aren't you at this moment telling me how to think about Facebook? Telling me how to think?
Yeah, it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, so we turned it off.
Mm-hmm.
No more news.
Yeah, I mean,
and no more racism.
Right. I mean, there you go. It's like shut it off.
Yeah, because I interact with people of all colors.
Same, all day, every day.
Never a problem.
Nope.
Only problem I find is on the news, and
exactly.
I believe that's about being sick of being poor.
Sick of it.
Sick of it.
It's like stop. Listen, I shouldn't even admit to this, but I like the news.
Uh-oh.
But I have really dialed it back.
What do you like about it? The drama?
No, it's not even that. I've always liked the current events. Like, tell me what's going on in the world. But listen, we've gotten way far away from that.
Yeah.
It's not that anymore.
Well, and I think it used to be like our source. It was important. You would actually get really news, informative news, learning about things that went on the day throughout, whether it's our area. I feel like when CNN started doing 24-hour news, remember when the little girl fell down the well? Yeah. And I bet I went out back and looked around to see if we had a well in our backyard. And this is in Texas, and I was in New Mexico. So that 24-hour news has started to make people feel like that's community. And it's not community.
It's not. It's toxic. And again, I just said I like the news for the current events, but it's not quite like that. So I really have dialed it back.
Yeah.
Within the last year because it's bad. I didn't want to turn on the news and see rioting in all these streets, and I was over it. I'm like, turn it off. Dude, it's bad.
That day I saw that was unnerving. When they were when they were tearing all the buildings.
I couldn't watch that. I could not. It just made me feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah, it wasn't a good feeling.
So,
well, like I said, I feel like that's when 24-hour news, and then they're just constantly they got to feed that cycle and those advertisers, and they got to make that money, and you can only report on so much stuff.
Yeah, you can. And when you don't hear anything good, and you're always hearing just the bad, that's not good. It doesn't make you feel good.
And it's ruined our whole. I mean, like, go play outside.
Yeah,
Can't
seriously.
do it because I'm not going to sit out there and stare at our kids playing outside because now everybody's going to steal our kids, right? Has anybody ever tried to steal you besides the homeless guy on the trail? And
no.
he just wanted to go out. He didn't even want to steal. He just wanted to go hang out.
Oh, gosh. No, I can't say that I wanted to be someone taking me, but I've been approached for money and all that.
I can't even get kidnapped.
I don't want to be kidnapped.
Right, but I mean, I don't either. But that's my point. Like, you would think by the news, you would think, oh, all the kids are getting kidnapped, and we should ask Matt, has any kids been I wonder if any children have been kidnapped from our area that wasn't part of like a custody suit.
Right. But it does make you wonder, when we were growing up, we didn't hear this stuff. It existed. We just didn't hear it. It was worse. And it wasn't in our face like it's in our face now.
Yeah, it was worse back then because, and you like Ted Bundy. The whole Ted Bundy story, I mean, but he was doing all his bad stuff in one town, and when they started catching up to him, he just went to the next town.
So
towns
crazy.
didn't even communicate with one another. They're like, all right, I'm going to go to Lewis. He left Rehoboth and went to Lewis and started kidnapping, and it was like,
I'm never running on the trail again.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Shit, I tell you what, if I was a freaky, creepy guy, I would not try to like kidnap some healthy, young, physical runner. You want to get like the sickly people.
I can't get away.
I remember running in Albuquerque when I went to Albuquerque a few years back. I ran It was 5 miles, 5,000 feet at 5 in the morning.
Oh, gosh.
And I ran through Route 66, the heart of downtown Albuquerque, where the hustlers and the bums, and the wide-eyed people in the night. And I tell you what, I ran through all sorts of folks, and they all just gave like, "What's up, brother?"
Yeah.
Respect.
They knew. Don't mess with you.
Yeah, don't mess with a runner.
No.
If you find a guy that passed out, drank too much wine, maybe take care of him, but not a runner.
And when you're out running, listen, everyone, we have nothing to offer you.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I do have a phone, but they've locked them things up so much now you can't even.
Right.
Yeah.
I do not have money.
No.
I've got nothing.
A good thing I don't have any money, because if I did, I'd probably give it away.
Yeah, like here you go.
Well, I feel bad for the people that live in the woods.
I do too. Listen.
There's a guy that's there now.
Oh.
And he's clearly got a problem. And I say, good morning. And he won't look at you. You probably know what I'm talking about. Like he has the yellow coat. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for people that struggle.
I know. I have a soft spot for people, animals. I want to help.
Well, I saw the they're not state police. It's the park police, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, like the park rangers.
And I think there was a homeless guy living in the nose of the dog, the wolf neck dog. If you looked, why they call it wolf neck. There's like a wolf shape in the woods, and
I didn't know that.
The nose. I think there was a homeless guy living in the nose. If you look at a map, that kind of that peninsula and the way it comes out has a wolf face sort of.
I never knew that.
Look up Wolf Neck Road. See if any fun stuff comes up. Did you meet my intern?
No,
Cody?
I didn't. Hi,
Cody the intern. We're big time now.
Man, this is like.
Yeah, it's like Joe Rogan's podcast. That's the house. I guess there's no map of it.
We're only seeing houses.
Oh, there, Wolf Neck Road. Yeah, click that.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Who knew? He's on the Northern Loop Trail.
Yeah. Oh, that's all the woods of Wolf Neck. Wolf Neck's Wood State Park. Wolf's Neck Woods State Park. Is that Delaware? No, that's not even us. What the hell? Oh, that's us. That looks just like us. Mm-hmm. Where's the nose?
Oh, that was Maine.
That was Maine.
That was in Maine.
Brother. Maybe this is it. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's us. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I saw a guy. I think there was a homeless guy in the nose of the wolf.
Oh.
So, what do you? Oh shit! I turned this off. So, if we start doing this podcast on a regular basis and we start talking about style and fashion, is there like a latest cut going on?
There's nothing.
Am I putting you on the spot?
Sorry, people. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
The lob.
I do not like that word.
I do not like the lob.
Mm-mm.
How about, have you done any hair like Billie Eilish's?
No.
Turn the roots green?
I'm not really into that either.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So what are we
looking? Not quite into that.
What are we looking at as like a middle-aged mom, maybe of one, maybe one child, who's maybe like, oh, I've lost my style, I've lost my fashion. What's a good... the lob, you hate the word, but it is kind of a nice transition to...
Oh, yeah.
You can't have, like, long hair down to your middle of your back all your life, right?
No, you can't, but I feel like long hair is in.
Long hair is coming...
Long hair is in, and lots of layers.
Lots of layers. Mm-hmm. So, like, what about bangs?
Bangs were coming back for, like, a small period of time. Now they're kind of like, eh.
Do you think trends kind of get set because of other trends? Like,
I do.
Remember it was the long bang, and then all of a sudden you're like really have no other option to cut bangs. So then you cut bangs, and they're like, oh, bangs are coming back.
Or how about this was the latest there for a little bit, the curtain bang. Did you have anybody coming in and asking? And
is that just the straight?
That was like
12 years old.
No, to like your nose, and then you parted it, and it winged back like a curtain.
No. I never. Oh, is that them?
There you go. Yes, curtain bangs. Look at Cody. He is on it.
That's not Cody. That's Jake.
You just called him Cody.
He was the first intern. I screwed up. Sorry, Jake. Jake from State Farm.
Jake, he called you Cody earlier. He did.
Well, yeah. I'm old. I can't help it. Well, so Cody was the other intern. Cody moved on.
Okay.
Jake's
now
new.
we have Jake. Okay.
Yeah. But Jake doesn't really talk much.
Jake is quiet. We got to get him.
Yeah, I gotta
get him
I gotta
talking
figure
here.
out how to. I always think he's upset at me. See, he doesn't even confirm. He just shakes his head. No, we love Jake. He's great.
We'll get Jake out of his
The problem
shell.
with a lot of these styles is that it requires
Work.
I was going to use the W word, work. And a lot of people, they don't have, not that they can't do the work, but they don't really have the desire.
They don't have the wanna.
They don't have the wanna.
It's the word of the day. Work
Wanna.
and wanna. Wanna work.
Wanna work.
Wanna work.
3 words, don't wanna work.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had the curtain bangs, but I did go through the lob period, and color-wise, luckily I haven't been taking down any crazy color roads. But what are you seeing in color? Because you do have your finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, right now everybody wants to be lighter, brighter.
Sure.
Summer.
Summer. Mm-hmm. Do you do when you? I would tell you the way that I do highlights, I stole from you. Thank you.
I should have patented that.
It's a great technique.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. Has anybody else like that has worked for you changed over to that technique?
Yeah, and you know what they say, Jess, that is hard and it takes a while to do. I'm like, yeah, but it like takes your highlights to a whole new level.
Right. Well, and I think if you can place a highlight in a manner that gives it more, makes it a little busier, like not vertical,
Yeah,
not
doesn't work.
horizontal,
Right.
but what's
Yeah.
this? Angle?
Got to go with the hairline.
The hairline.
Hairline.
Because you don't want the tick, 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 tick,
No,
the white dots up along
Oh,
there.
Lord, that drives me nuts.
That's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, so I love doing that angles and put those highlights in angles. I know, like right now, I'm probably doing more slicing than weaving, just getting that blonde in there.
Yeah, and I'll do a little bit of both.
Yeah, you can't do slices in the first two foils on the forehead.
No.
That's a big no-no.
That's a big no-no. That's
Here's a little
bad.
education for you newcomers. Do not do slices in the first 2 foils of the hairline.
That's right. It will not end well.
Ever.
Ever.
It never works out.
Never.
Yeah, so, but yeah, getting people blonded up. So we know Nicole.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Nicole.
was like, took me a minute. Yeah.
So she's, so I just brought the 11 line in my salon. What'd you bring in?
Well, that's funny because they just left that with me and I like it.
It's good.
It is good.
We're far enough apart.
We are, and I might be. You know what? There hasn't been any lines here lately that has had good styling products.
Yes. They have.
Shampoo, conditioner, great, but give me something good.
Have you tried the styling products with 11?
She left a few.
I like them.
I do too.
There's another one that I really like too. Well, so product game. That's a freaking. It's a struggle, right?
Do you know
yeah,
what?
there they are. That's
Yes. Do you know what has killed our industry?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I don't even
And
know.
you know, what people don't know because they're not educated is you can go on Amazon, you can get something, but you might not be getting the real deal.
No, so I remember when I was, starting some adventure, and you could go and you could basically buy giant boxes of products. So, like, if let's say like I just got rid of, I had Alterna was was it Alterna? I had a line in, and they, of course, we'll buy that off you, we'll take it out. So they take it out, they box it up, and they send it somewhere.
Yeah.
Those people takes those, put them in giant boxes, and they sell those big boxes of products online. Walgreens buys them. They're big box stores, and they take all the products and then they re-put it back up on the shelf, and then they sell the line. So you can buy stuff places, but you don't know, first of all, how old it is.
That's right.
How many times it's been passed down.
Yes.
And if you're buying it in a place, that's probably because it's not that great.
Exactly. So my advice to everybody is buy from your salon.
Buy from your salon. And I can tell you that, you know me, I'm not huge into products, but I made Nicole stop by. I really enjoy Nicole. I think she does a lot of great stuff on Instagram for the company Evolve. And she's been super helpful. She's basically helped me set up all my displays, but she brought in some lines, and I've always had my own line, the Thomas David Salon line, which I like because it's the best shampoo that I could get.
Right.
And when you think shampoo, one of the first things I think of is concentration, right? Because you could take a good bottle of shampoo, pour it into 2 bottles, split it, and then fill it with a bunch of fillers and stuff, and have 2 decent bottles of shampoo.
You could.
So really, concentration is what I always look for. So she brought in I got the 11 line. I got another line called RPM, which has CBD oil in it, which is really nice.
Is it?
And it has a lot of facial stuff in it, moisturizers for faces
Yeah.
and eyes and stuff. And then I think I'm going to bring one more line in called Electric.
Sounds cool.
Electric. But the 11 is nice, and it's got a lot of great styling products, and it's got great fragrance. So
It does.
people need to check it out.
They do. It's
Check
from
you out.
Australia.
So are you going to have an online store?
Well, she told me about that.
Yes.
That intrigued me too.
That's what got me.
I like that.
Because she says, listen, you can just, you have your starter, you get into the family. And then once the family is started, and then if you're not carrying everything, because that is one of the challenging things about products, right?
It is
keeping it all on the shelves, because sometimes you have periods where it doesn't move and you're like, ugh. And then all of a sudden it moves. So if it's not found in the store, you can go onto your online store and order it.
I like that.
And that was why I got into it at all.
Yeah.
My online store.
That intrigued me as well.
So now people can find your products in your store, and they can also, hopefully you'll do it. I don't think it costs anything.
I don't think so either. I haven't really, every time she's come in, I've been so busy.
Yeah, well, that's going to always be the problem.
I know.
Because you're always so busy.
I'm so busy.
But she's great, and let her get you a store set up, because that way you can keep a couple products to, if you want to sell it and have it on display, and then people can order it on your store.
Yeah.
We'll take Amazon down. Something's up with Amazon.
I just had a client show me, she bought a product from me on Saturday, and she pulled it up on Amazon where she bought it because she couldn't get into the salon to buy it. It was named something totally different.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Same product, just with a slight name change.
So it was black market.
Pretty much.
Can we still say that?
Black market.
Dark market?
That's
the market.
I mean, that's what it is.
Right, exactly. Well, they got the dark web.
Yeah.
Well, it is a challenge, and I don't think people. I know, of course, we always have tried to do this. We always try to support local. We're such a small town.
We
have
are.
to.
I'm big on. Like yesterday, I went and bought my flowers from Peppers.
Yes.
I love Peppers.
Yes.
I go there every year. I told him when I was done, and I checked out. I'm like, y'all can go home for the day because
I bought my I bought my flowers at Ace.
Well, Ace, I still like Ace. That's
I do
still
too.
local.
It's still
and
local.
It sure is.
Right. Ace is the place.
Ace is the place.
Yeah. So, so we always try to support local. We always try. But I feel like something is going on with Amazon, because I bought something and it did not come in 2 days. It took like a week or 2. It was like back to reality.
It was. It's like not Prime anymore.
Well, I also read an article they're getting rid of that.
Oh Lord.
Well,
but
they need to. We need to wait. We need to suffer.
Yeah,
that.
because again, like our kids, let's go back to them. They think everything is like instant gratification.
Yeah, they don't know. Can't you just order it, have it here tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know. Well, kids today, is your daughter working?
She's 11.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Huh.
She'll be 12 soon.
Can't get a job?
She needs to get a job. She's
Tighten
expensive.
Let's tighten her up a bit.
Oh my God.
I remember I have a picture still of holding her with that big old flower bow on her head.
Oh my God. I still think she needs a bow in her hair.
Every day?
Every day.
There you go.
She will not.
What kind of, I think that for me, one of the greatest things about just being alive is watching my kids grow up.
I know.
As much of a pain in the ass as they are, but just watching them kind of turn into decent people.
Exactly.
It's pretty fun.
I know. I like being with my kid.
Yeah.
I know some people are like, oh, I can't wait to have a break. I can't wait to be with my kid.
Yeah. I can't. It's funny. My kids are all kind of in this, like, Teresa's really young.
Yeah.
And she's still kind of, like, this morning I dropped her off at school. She's crying. I'm like, what's the matter? I miss mommy. I'm like, get out. And then Sam, he's like too cool for school, so he is 10.
That's funny.
And his hair, he's got this hair thing he's doing now, and I'm like, let me fix it. Don't touch it. It's perfect. And so I'm not really looking forward to hanging out with him, except I do a lot. I take him for golfing and stuff, his lessons and stuff. But And then David is 15, and he's working his way out the door.
That's crazy. We're getting old.
Yeah, we're getting old.
We are getting old.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if this is what getting old is, and this is the life of while I'm doing it, I'll take it.
Exactly.
Well, and unfortunately, we had my wife's friend's husband passed away this morning.
Oh.
And they were at the
Sorry
beach
to hear
yesterday.
that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he was young.
Oh, that's sad.
Yes, it is a big shock, and in fact, the girl next door, I just told her, and she's good friends with him. So
Oh my
it's weird. They were just at the beach last night. There's pictures of him on Facebook, and then this morning he's life support.
That is awful.
Yeah. So kiss your kids, kiss your family.
That's right.
All right, Jess. Listen, thank you. So
You're
I can
welcome.
count you in.
Absolutely.
Sort of, when you're free.
We'll make it happen.
Okay.
This is fun.
Yeah, because this is going to be it. We're going to start bringing people in.
Okay.
You're going to be part of the company.
Listen, this could be our new thing.
If you have somebody you would like to invite and bring in.
Okay.
The premise is going to be you, me, maybe Shreddy if we can get his lazy ass out of bed. Shreddy. But definitely you and me. And, if you want to bring someone in and shine a little light on them. And
be fun.
And I'll just hang out and listen to you guys talk. But, we'll bring different aspects and talk about different things.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right.
Sounds good.
So thanks for coming on the Are You Spirited podcast. We will post this in the Rehoboth Social and on the Are You Spirited page. But catch you next time.
Sounds good. Have
All
a
right.
great day.
Bye.
Bye.